Hello friends, this is Hatim Rampurawala, and in this video we will continue with our revision of standard of auditing, that is SA 250. In the last video we had completed SA 240. That has been done in two parts. Okay, so now we will continue with SA 250. This we are revising from the Pankaj Gar scanner. This PDF is basically a copyrighted PDF, but though it is freely available on the Pankaj Gar sir website, on Telegram channel. Basically, you can download it from there. Okay, so we'll continue our revision. Now, first question, essay 215. This the name of the essay is and this is very simple essay in the 200 series. I find it very, and this is very interesting as well, the concept of this, that in consideration of the law and regulation in an audit of the financial statement. So what all law and regulation and auditor needs to consideration basically of the law and regulation in an audit of financial statement. Okay, first, comment on the following. Management is responsible for the compliance with laws and regulation. Okay, so first answer, management is responsible for compliance with laws and regulation. Answer, management responsibility for the compliance with laws and regulation. Essay 250, consideration of the law and regulation in an audit of the financial statement, states that it is the responsibility of the management with the oversight of the TCWG to ensure that the entity's operations are conducted in accordance with the provision of law and regulation. So basically it is the first of all for compliance with laws and regulation is the responsibility of the management, and that too with oversight of the TCWG, and they have to ensure that the entity's operation are conducted in accordance with in provision with the legal, that is law and regulation. For this purpose the management may apply the following procedure. First, so what all management should what we can say comply with, so how they should ensure the compliance with this law and regulation, that management may apply the following procedure. First, monitoring the legal requirement and ensuring that the operating procedure are designed to meet this requirement. So they should monitor the legal requirements. What all legal requirements are there in relation to specific law and regulations, that what this law and regulation requires an entity to do. Okay, so monitoring the legal requirements and then ensuring that the operating procedure are designed to meet this requirement. For instance, a certain law and regulation require that quarterly reporting, for example, in relation to any quarterly reporting is required, so there should be a mechanism. He should ensure that the operating procedures should be such that they are designed to meet this requirement. So there has to be filing of the quarterly return in a year from the entity. That entity should upload, basically that it is the responsibility. So what the management should do, first you should monitor the legal requirements and then ensure that the operating procedure are designed in such a way that it meets the these requirement. Second, instituting and operating the appropriate system of internal control. So they should institute, means they should install, basically install in the sense there should be a proper operating system, institute first of all, and operating appropriate system of internal control. So they should ensure this also, that institute and operate appropriate system of internal control. Third, developing and publishing and following a code of conduct. So they should develop, publish, and then follow the code of conduct. So first they are given monitor the legal requirement and operating procedure should be such that it should meet the requirement. Second is that instituting and operating the appropriate system of internal control, and developing, publishing, and following a code of conduct. Developing, publishing, and following the code of conduct. Then they should first develop, then publishing, and then they should follow basically the code of conduct for laws and regulation. Then ensuring the employees are properly trained and understands the code of conduct. They should also ensure that the employees are properly trained and understands the code of conduct. So employees are properly trained to that level that they can understand that what all laws and regulations are there, and they can also understand the code of conduct, the one which they are prepared, that they have developed, published, and following the code of conduct. So they should ensure that employer properly trained and they also understand the code of conduct of the company, then monitoring compliance with the code of conduct and acting appropriately to discipline employee who fails to comply it. So they should management should monitor the compliance, that all are complying with the code of conduct. That in the earlier point also they have said that they should train the employee and understand and ensure that employee are also understanding the code of conduct, they are following the code of conduct. And so in fifth point they have said that they should have a mechanism of monitoring that all are complying with the monitoring the compliance with code of conduct, and then acting appropriately to discipline the employees. And if for instance some employee is not following the code of conduct, then they should appropriately take the actions in the sense and appropriately acting to discipline the employee who fails to, that they should bring in discipline in that employee who fails to comply with such a code of conduct. Then engaging legal advisor to assist in monitoring the legal requirement. For instance, there is some legal requirement, and if the management is not for instance understanding the requirement, so they should engage the legal advisor. So what management will do, they will engage the legal advisor to assist them in monitoring the legal requirement. So first point we have seen that understanding first and monitoring the legal requirement and ensuring the operating procedure are designed to meet the requirement. Second, instituting and operating appropriate system. Third, developing, publishing and following the code of conduct, that they develop, publish and following the code of conduct. Then ensuring that employer properly trained and understand the code of conduct, learn alongside we are reading. Then they should monitor the compliance of the code of conduct and act appropriately to discipline, that they should also discipline the employee who fails to follow that. And then ensure legal advisor to assist in monitoring the legal requirement. Then and the last point is maintaining a register, that they should maintain basically management should maintain a register of the significant laws and regulation with which an entity has to comply with its particular industry, and a record of the complaints and a records of the complaints also. Means he should maintain a register of what all laws and regulation the entity needs to comply with and has to comply with in particular industry, and also they should maintain a records of the complaints. So basically we had seen 7 point. We will quickly again revise. First point was monitoring legal requirement, what all are the legal requirements, and the operating procedure adopted, operating procedure that are designed to meet this requirement. Second, instituting and operating the appropriate system of internal control, that they should properly institute. So first is legal requirement, second institute, operating control, institute and operating appropriate system. Third point, fourth point and fifth point is in relation to the code of conduct. So third, they have said that developing and publishing the following the code of conduct. Then they should train the employee properly and understand the code of conduct, monitoring the compliance of the code of conduct and acting appropriately to discipline the employee who fails to follow the code of conduct. Then in sixth point, they have said to take the legal advisory to understand the legal requirements. And in last point, they have said is that they should maintain a proper register, they should maintain a proper records of all the laws and regulations that are required to be complied with by the entity, and they should also maintain the complaint register. Okay, so we'll proceed. Second question, what are the roles and the responsibility of the statutory auditor in relation to the compliance with the laws and regulation by the entity? So in the in last answer, which the basically the first answer which we studied, in that they have given the management responsibility in relation to the laws and regulation. Now this is the roles and responsibility of the statutory auditor in relation to the compliance with laws and regulation. Okay, so we will go through the answer. Roles and responsibility of the statutory auditor in relation to the compliance of laws and regulation. You also basically try to revise, to learn along with me as well. Okay, so first, auditor shall obtain the general understanding of. So we are what we need to answer basically in this, that what are the roles and responsibility of the auditor in relation to the laws and regulations. So first, the auditor should obtain a general understanding of the legal and the regulatory framework applicable to the entity and the industry. So first what he should do, that he should obtain an understanding of the legal laws and the regulatory framework applicable to the entity and the industry or the sector in which the entity operates, and how the entity is complying with that framework. Basically they should understand that in which industry, which sector in which an entity operates, so what is the legal requirement or the framework which are applicable to the entity in which it operates, or industry or the structure or the sector in which it operates. So he should understand the legal and regulatory framework in which an entity operates, and the sector in which entity operates. And second, so he has identified what all legal requirements are there, and then he have to also ensure that how the entity is complying with that framework. Okay, then next point, auditor shall obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding the compliance with the provision of those laws and regulations generally recognized to have a direct effect on the determination of the material amount and disclosure in the financial statement. So auditor shall obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding the compliance with the. So what the auditor should do is, the auditor shall obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence in regarding. So if in relation to the compliance of laws and regulation, auditor has to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence regarding the compliance, that whether the company is complying, whether the entity is complying with that laws and regulation, with the provision of the those laws and regulation generally recognized to have the direct effect. So if some laws and regulation have a direct bearing or have the direct impact on the financial statement, determination of the material amount and the disclosure in the financial statement, so he in relation to that laws and regulation, he should obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. The one law for which that have the direct effect on the material amount and the disclosure of the financial statement, so he should obtain appropriate audit evidence in relation to that audit evidence. Okay, second point, then the auditor shall perform an audit procedure to identify the instances of the non-compliance with other laws and regulation that may have a material effect on the financial statement. Then what he should do is, then he should also obtain audit evidence in relation to those laws and regulation, in relation to those laws and regulation which may have a material effect, instances of the non-compliance with other. So there is two bifurcation basically, that is the laws and regulation applicable to the entity and other laws and regulations, other law and regulation as well. So in this point we are speaking of the other laws and regulation. The auditor shall perform the auditor shall perform the audit procedure. Basically he should continue with his audit procedure, he should perform the audit procedure to identify the instances. He should identify whether there is any non-compliance with the other laws and regulation that have the material effect on the financial statement. Okay, financial statement inquiry. So what the auditor will do is inquiry of the management. Second, inspecting correspondence, if any, with the relevant licensing or regulatory authority. So inspecting correspondence, he will correspond with the relevant licensing and regulatory authority and inquiry of the management. So first point we have seen that auditor shall obtain general understanding that what all laws and regulation, legal regulatory framework applicable to the entity, to the industry or the sector in which an entity operates, and whether entity is complying with those, how the entity, and how, not whether, how the entity is complying. Then auditor shall obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence in regardance with the evidence regarding the compliance with the provision of those laws and regulations that have the direct effect on the determination of the material amount and disclosure in the financial statement. And auditor shall perform the following audit procedure to identify the, then he should perform audit procedure to identify the non-compliance with other laws and regulations that have the material effect on the financial statement. So what he should do that inquiry of the management and inspecting the correspondence, if any, with the legal licensing and regulatory authority. Then during the audit, auditor shall remain alert to the possibility that other audit procedure applied may bring the instances of the non-compliance or suspected non-compliance with laws and regulation to the auditor's attention. Then he should also ensure that auditor shall remain alert to the possibility that the other audit procedure applied may bring the may bring the instances of the non-compliance or the suspected non-compliance with laws and regulation to the auditor's intention, and obtain the written representation, and at the end he should obtain written representation that all the instances, whether instances of the non-compliance or the suspected non-compliances with the laws and regulation have been disclosed to the auditor. So he should obtain the written representation from the management that that they have provided, or that they have disclosed basically all the instances, non-compliances or suspected non-compliance of laws and regulation have been disclosed to the auditor. And in second last point, what they have given is that he should or should remain alert to the possibility that the other audit procedure applied may bring instances of the non-compliance or suspected non-compliance, that whether such he should basically, he should be, what you can say, he should have, what I can say, he should always being alert basically while performing the other audit procedure as well, that there may be some that he may come to certain conclusion or instances he may find out of the non-compliance or the suspected non-compliance with the laws and regulation to the auditor's attention. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. So we are done with what is the management responsibility in relation to the law and regulation, what is the auditor's responsibility in relation to the law and regulation. Now, as an statutory auditor of the company, comment on the following. While verifying the employee record in the company, it was found that the major portion of the labor employed was child labor. So what statutory auditor found, that majority or major portion of the labor which was doing the work basically are child labor. On questioning the management, the auditor was told that it was outside his scope of the financial audit to look into the compliance with the other laws. Okay, so the management has basically straight away said that it is outside your scope, so you should not go into that line of thinking that whether the company is complying with other laws and regulation or not, whether the company is employing the child labor, and whether it is in violation to some law or regulation or not. So management is basically restricting his scope. Then that they are restricted in the sense that they are that management is of the view that this is outside the scope of an audit of the financial statement. Then CA Yusuf has been appointed as an auditor of Ajanta Limited, okay, a textile entity. While going through the employee records of the company, CA Yusuf identified that most of the labor employed are of the age between 11 to 12. On inquiry, the management argued that there is no such foundation with regards to the employment of such lower age children, and contend that it is out of the scope of an audit as well to check such compliance. Comment in the context of the relevant standard on auditing whether the contention of the management is tenable. So you should comment that whether the contention of the management is tenable. Now both questions were basically the same. We will read out we will go through the answer, and this is very simple as well. Concept that even though it is outside the scope of financial statement, but that act of employing the labor who are child labor basically, that may what we can say, open a risk of the there may be an exposure of the there is open exposure of the that there may be penalty imposed on to the company. Okay, so what they have given is auditor's responsibility for the consideration of the other laws. Essay 250. Consideration of the laws and regulation in an audit of the financial statement requires an auditor to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So basically they have first given that the name of the essay 250, and then requires the auditor to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding the compliance with the provision of those laws and regulations that generally recognized to have the direct impact on the determination of the material amount and the disclosure in the financial statement, including the tax and the labor laws. So he should obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence for those laws and regulations which have the direct effect on the disclosure determination and the disclosure of the material amount and disclosure in the financial statement. For the other laws, auditor responsibility is limited to undertake specified audit procedure to help identify the non-compliance with those laws and regulations that may have the material effect on the financial statement. So, and if in relation to, if we say for other laws and regulations, what auditor will do is that the auditor's responsibility is limited to undertake that what auditor will do is they will undertake this specified audit procedure. They will carry out specified audit procedure to help identify the what all are the non-compliance with those laws and regulations that may have the material effect. Non-compliance with other laws and regulation may result in the fines. So if the company is not complying with the other laws and regulation, that may result into fines, litigation, that may result into that may result into fines, then litigation and other consequences for the entity, the cost of which may need to be provided for. So for this, basically the company needs to provide for the cost of the fines, penalty, litigation, etc. In the instance case, major portion of the labor was a child labor. Conclusion: auditor should ensure that the disclosure of the above fact and the provision of the disclosure of the above fact that child labor are being employed, and the provision of the cost of the fines, litigation and other consequences. In such a case, auditor concludes that the non-compliance may have the material effect on the financial statement. How we can say that there is a material effect? Because it is affecting the financial statement. And how it is affecting? Because the company needs to provide for the, make the provision for the fines and the penalties that may be imposed if the company is continuing, or if the company has employed and company is of not intention to not employ the child labor, and he should also modify his opinion accordingly. So what he should do: disclose, he should provide for the cost of the fines, penalty, litigation, and he should also modify his opinion accordingly. This was very simple question. We'll proceed on to the next question. That is, RM and company wants to be alert on a possibility of the non-compliance with the laws and regulation during the course of an audit of SRS Limited. So basically, RM and company is a chartered accountancy firm. Wants to be alert on the possibility that they want to be alert on the possibility of the non-compliance with the laws and regulation in course of an audit of, and they are auditing basically SRS company. RM Limited seek your guidance for identifying the indications of the non-compliance with laws and regulations. So basically we have to answer what all are the indications, what all indicates that there is non-compliance, that there has been non-compliance in the entity. As a second question, as an auditor of TRP Limited, you are suspicious that there might be you are suspicious about that. There might be a non-compliance. So as an auditor of TRP, you are suspicious that there might be a non-compliance with the laws and regulation to which the company is subjected to, and indicates the possible area or aspect where you may have to look out for forming an opinion as to whether the suspicions has some based to future inquiry. So basically we have to just indicate the indication of the non-compliance. So we'll proceed with the answer. Indicators to be considered for verifying the compliance with the laws and regulations. So what all indicators that we need to consider? SA 250, we have to first write the name of the essay. This is mandatory in every question of essay, that we should first specify the essay name, then the objective. See, they will also say the objective. See, SA 250, consideration of the laws and regulation in an audit of the financial statement, deals with the auditor's responsibility to consider the laws and regulation when performing an audit. So when auditor is performing an audit procedure in relation to audit, what auditor should keep in mind? What is the responsibility of an auditor? That he should consider that whether the company is complying the laws and regulation, either that affects directly the financial statement and related disclosure, or whether there are some other laws and regulations that have material effect on the financial statement. Okay, so to verify the compliance, we are reading the next paragraph. To verify the compliance of the laws and regulation, auditor is required to consider the following indicators. So to verify the compliance, that whether the company is complying or not, so what all are the indicators which required to consider the following? To verify the compliance of laws and regulation, auditor is required to consider the following indicator. First, investigation by the regulatory organization, that organization, government department, or payment of fines, additional taxes. See, what is the first indicator is that whether there has been some investigation by the regulatory organization, then the regulatory organization, government department, or whether there has been some payment of the fines or additional taxes or the penalties. So investigation by the regulatory government department or the payment of the fines, taxes and penalties, this is the first indicator. Second, payment of the unspecified payment for the unspecified services or the loan to the consultant, related party or the employee. So if there has been some unspecified payment, whether there has been some payment for the unspecified services or a loan to the consultant who consult basically in compliance with such laws and regulation to the company. So there has been payment for unspecified services, then then loans to the consultant, related party or the employee. And third indicator, sales commission or the agent fees that appears excessive in relation to those ordinarily paid by the entity or is in the industry or to service actually received. So if there has been more sales commission paid, sales commission to an agent or agent fees that appears excessive in relation to the ordinarily paid to the entity so what is paid in ordinary case, there has been some excess payment in relation to the sales commission, then purchase at a price significantly above the market price. So these all are, first of all, what they have given is indicators to be considered for verifying the compliance. So how they can identify whether there is some irregularity? Okay, so that's how they have given the answer is that investigation, if there has been some investigation of the organization, government department, or the payment of the fines or fees, then if there has been excess payment of sales commission, or if there has been any purchase which is more than the, which is above or below the market price, or if there have been payment for unspecified services or given a loan to the employee or consultant or the related party, whether there has been any loan given, then unusual cash payment is made, then unusual payment towards legal and retainer fees. So unusual cash payment, we have made payment for the purchase, sales commission, then we have made payment for the consultant, loan, unusual cash payment, unusual payment towards the legal and retainer fees, unnecessary retainer fees and cash has been paid, then unusual transaction with the company registered in tax haven. So then the company is engaging into some transaction with the company which are located in the tax haven. So unnecessary or unusual transaction with the company, unusual transaction with the companies registered in the tax haven, then payment for the goods or the services made other than to the country for which the goods or services originated. So payment has been made for the goods and services other than the country. So payment has been made to the other country from which the goods and the services are originated basically. So if the goods have been originated, for example, if we are importing the goods from Japan, but then from Japan we are not directly importing, first we are importing from Japan to Nepal, and from Nepal we are importing. So we are not making the payment to the country from where it has basically originated, that is Japan. Then so this any point you can select the points which can be easily memorized and you can write it in the exam. So this all are the indications of the to how to verify the compliance of laws and regulations. So the auditor need to consider the following point: investigation with the government, payment of fine, fees, unusual payment, sales commission, purchase price higher, unusual cash payment, legal and retainer fee, unusual payment of legal and retainer fees, then payment to the companies registered in tax haven, then payment for the goods and services in made other than to the country which from which the goods or the services are originated, then payments without proper exchange control documentation. So there has been a payment without exchange control documentation, then payment without proper exchange control. So there isn't a proper exchange control documentation in the payment which have been made. Then existence of the information system which fails to provide an adequate audit trail, then unauthorized transaction or the improperly recorded transaction improperly recorded transaction, then adverse media content. So payment without documentation, adverse media content, then unauthorized transaction. Basically if some transaction is unauthorized, and then we had actually processed that unauthorized transaction or improperly recorded transaction. So these all things need to verified while complying with laws and regulation. While checking the compliance, while checking basically, see, indicators to be considered while verify whether the company is in compliance or not. So these all are the indicators which they needs to verify for verifying the compliance of laws. And while verifying the compliance of laws and regulation, okay, will proceed basically, sorry, okay. State the reporting responsibility of an auditor in the context of the non-compliance of the laws and regulation in an audit of the financial statement. So what is the reporting responsibility of an auditor? See, after conduct of an auditor has to report the conclusion basically in his audit report. So if there has been a non-compliance of laws and regulations, so how what is the reporting responsibility in relation to that we have to in that relation we have to specifically give the answer. Okay, so first we will just see the headings. There is a first reporting to the management and TCWG, then reporting in audit report. So first we will report to management and TCWG, then there is reporting in the audit report, the one which we issue along with the financial statement, and third is reporting to the regulatory and enforcement authority. Okay, this is the last question basically. Okay, and this is also very much easy, that what is basically the reporting requirement. So if in reporting to the management, if an auditor if an auditor has basically identified the non-compliance, then the auditor shall communicate with TCWG the matter involving the non-compliance. So they will communicate with the TCWG the all matters which involve non-compliance with laws and regulation that comes to the auditor attention. If in the auditor's judgment the non-compliance is believed to be intentional and material. If in the auditor's judgment the non-compliance is believed to be an intentional and material, if auditor thinks that this non-compliance has been done intentionally and it is material as well, the auditor shall communicate the matter to the TCWG as soon as practicable. So he should first communicate to the TCWG the non-compliance of any laws and regulation that has came to the auditor attention. So he should communicate. Then he should communicate such matter which are material, which he finds that this has been done intentionally. The auditor shall communicate the matter to the TCWG as soon as practicable. Then if an auditor suspect that the management of the TCWG are involved in the non-compliance, and if an auditor basically feels that even though they are communicating to TCWG, but if he feels that that management in the TCWG is involved in the non-compliance, that there has been a non-compliant in agreement with the TCWG and the management, the auditor shall communicate the matter to the next higher level of authority at the entity, and if it exists. So if there is a next high level of authority, they should inform to that authority, auditor should inform that authority, such as the audit committee or the supervisory board. Where no such higher authority, auditor shall consider the need to obtain the legal advice. So auditor shall consider the need, basically auditor shall take the legal advice basically, then how to proceed, how to report basically, if there is not next level higher authority about the TCWG or the management. Then second, reporting in an audit report. If an auditor concludes that the non-compliance has the material effect on the financial statement, and basically auditor has found the material misstatement, that there has been a non-compliance with laws and regulations, and if it is material, if that non-compliance has the material effect on the financial statement and has not been adequately reflected in the financial statement, and if that non-compliance has not been there is a non-compliance and that has not been reported as well in the financial statement, that and has not been adequately reflected in the financial statement. So how how the users of the financial statement will get a knowledge of that there has been a non-compliance. So that if there has been a non-compliance, and whether there are circumstances where the company had to face the fines, penalties or litigations. So this all should be informed properly to the basically the shareholders, the owners of the company. So and if there is a non-compliance, if it is material and it has not been adequately reflected in the financial statement, the auditor shall express a qualified or the adverse opinion on the financial statement. So how, if it has not been disclosed in the financial statement, so he will disclose this is in his audit report by giving a qualified or the adverse opinion and stating the reasons as well in the basis of qualified para or basis of qualified opinion or adverse opinion. Wait a second. Sorry. Okay. And if an auditor is precluded by the management from obtaining sufficient appropriate audit evidence, auditor shall express a qualified or disclaim the opinion. If he has been if he finds that there is a non-compliance, then he should and if it is material and all, so he should report basically as qualify or adverse. And if the management restricted the auditor in obtaining the appropriate audit evidence, then auditor shall express a qualified or disclaim the audit opinion. If an auditor is unable to determine whether the non-compliance has occurred because of the limitation imposed by the auditor rather than the management or TCW, the auditor shall, and if an auditor first of all is unable to determine whether there has been a non-compliance or the compliance, so auditor is unable to determine. Why auditor is unable to determine? Because there has been a limitation imposed by the circumstances rather than by the management. So basically management and TCWG has not restricted, but there are circumstances which has led a restriction for an auditor for obtaining an audit evidences, that whether there has been non-compliance or there has been not non-compliances. So the auditor shall evaluate the effect of an auditor, then auditor shall evaluate the effect on the auditor's opinion. Basically he should give, according to that he should give the opinion. And last is reporting. So first we have seen reporting to TCWG. If TCWG and management are involved, so they should report to the next high level of authority. In second point we have seen reporting to the reporting in an audit report. So they should basically, if auditor feels that there is non-compliance, and if management, and if it is material as well and it has not been disclosed in the financial statement, so he should give an adverse or qualify the audit opinion. And if the management but if the what we can say, if management restrict in obtaining an audit evidence to the auditor, then he should express a qualify or disclaim the audit opinion. And if there has been a limitation but not on account of restriction by the management or the TCWG, then he should appropriately give his opinion in an audit report. And the last is reporting to the regulatory and the enforcement authority if an auditor identified or suspected non-compliance with the laws and regulations. So basically auditor has identified that there are non-compliances, then auditor shall determine whether the auditor has responsibility to report the identified or suspected non-compliance to the party outside the entity. So what they again simple point is that if the auditor has identified that there are non-compliances, so he should just he should understand his responsibility, that the auditor shall determine whether the auditor has the responsibility to report those identified or suspected. So either they would have been identified, auditor would have identified the non-compliance, or suspected non-compliance to the authority outside the entity. There is some legal or regulatory authority outside the entity, basically higher level authority. There is regulatory bodies, SEBI, RBI, or other authorities in specific. This is the reporting requirement. So we are done with essay 250. I just go through that we have covered all the answer or not. This we are done, this we are done. Then we had seen this as well, this roles of the statutory auditor. Okay, this also we had done. Okay, all are done basically. I thought that we missed one of them. Okay, in next video we will continue with essay 260. How much question are there in this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just 4. It will be done in approx span of half an hour. Okay, thank you for watching the video.